Hi, I'm David Wrench. I'm CEO of QPM Energy, and thank you for the opportunity to spend a little bit of time talking about our business and where we're headed over the next 12 or 18 months or so. I want to really break my discussion or my talk down into three areas. I really want to give a bit of an overview of what our business is and what our strategy is, provide some update on where we are today, and really we've set some pretty key targets for ourselves over the next 12 or 18 months. And then I do want to spend some time talking about the electricity market, because I think, as you'll see as I work through the presentation, electricity revenue is a pretty important part of our business going forward, and I think it's not well understood, and I think as a company we have quite a unique exposure to what is a very interesting market opportunity. So QPM Energy is actually an integrated energy business. So we produce gas and manage gas supply. We process, compress, supply customers in Moranbah. We have a major customer, Dyno Nobel, who make ammonium nitrate in Moranbah, effectively explosives for the mining industry. And we also supply gas into the Townsville area via the North Queensland Gas Pipeline. In Townsville, we supply a little bit of gas to CRL, copper refineries, but our main asset is the dispatch rights for the Townsville Power Station, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail as you work through the presentation. The Moranbah Gas project is the foundation of our business. It's a project that was developed about 20 years ago and has been in production ever since. It's a conventional coal seam gas project, and currently we produce about 30 odd terajoules a day, or about 11 petajoules of gas a year. We have a gas field that has about 130 odd producing wells, and we have a very significant 2P reserve position, so about 330 petajoules. And of that, over 200 of those 300 odd petajoules is uncontracted at present. The field and infrastructure is extensive. We have a very large gas gathering and water management infrastructure, where we have our own electrical reticulation, and we have a very large gas processing and compression facility, which is the only facility which is actually connected into the North Queensland Gas Pipeline. As I mentioned earlier, the Townsville Power Station is an important asset for us. We own all of the dispatch rights. What that means is we actually run that power station and receive the electricity revenue that it generates from dispatch directly into the national electricity market. It's a 242 megawatt power station, so it's quite a significant asset in the Queensland energy system. Our business is supported by, there's been a material change in market sentiment, I think, and in general sentiment towards gas in particular as a critical part of our energy makeup going forward. We've seen both federal and state governments beginning to back away from the negativity around gas, but actually starting to positively endorse gas and gas's role in the energy transition. AEMO in particular has been quite strong on the need for real investment in gas supply and new gas-fired generation. And in fact, the CEO of AEMO came out this week and was talking about gas being the backbone of Australia's or Eastern Australia's energy system. And the Queensland Government actually has recognised that there is a very significant requirement for about 3 gigawatts of gas firming generation, new gas firming generation, but really there's not a lot happening. There's almost no new projects in development currently. There is Commonwealth Government has in place a thing called the Safeguard Mechanism, and what that is for large carbon emitters are required to not only report their emissions but also progressively reduce emissions by 5% a year going forward. Our project, the Moranbah Gas project, is located in the heart of the Bowen Basin, which is Queensland's premier coal producing basin, and there are about 30 odd safeguard sites within about 20 or 30 kilometres of our project. Those emissions are all predominantly methane. Methane is drained and vented and flared as a part of the mining operations, and we are uniquely positioned to capture that gas and use it beneficially rather than having it just vented or even worse, flared into the environment. We already work with coal mines to manage their gas and waste coal mine gas, and we're looking to increase those activities. And clearly we're seeing gas recognised as a very valuable, and we're seeing players now actively seeking to secure reserves and resources, particularly in Eastern Australia, where we are facing very significant gas shortfalls over the next few years, in fact. I just note that QPM Energy's EV to reserve multiple is around, well, it's actually a little higher than that at the moment. It's around 30 to 40 cents a gigajoule, compared to some recent transactions well north of that. So the QPM business, we have been working hard over the last 12 months in turning around the Moranbah Gas project. So it's fundamental to us to build off the work we've done to date. We have increased reserves. We now have 331 petajoules of 2P reserves. Production has increased over the last 12 months. We're around about 30 TJs a day. We are selling gas. We're producing electricity. We generated about $75 million of revenue for FY 2024. However, the project has been burdened by a couple of very onerous commercial contracts which we picked up when we bought the asset, and those are associated with the transportation capacity on the North Queensland Gas Pipeline and the dispatch rights for the Townsville Power Station. But we have currently renegotiated those contracts, and going forward we'll see a very significant drop in our operating costs basis. In particular, our unit operating costs are coming down as production grows. Over the next 12 months, we're looking to continue on pretty much on all of these initiatives. We've just basically completed a very substantial remodelling of the whole gas field, and I think that will lead to quite a large upgrade in both resources and reserves. And we're also now working through and actually have completed a new drilling program which will deliver increased production. So we're moving from around 30 TJs a day to around 35 TJs a day over the next 6 to 9 months. And working hard with our mining stakeholders to connect in more gas supply that is actually just coming out of mines currently that is being flared and effectively wasted. We have already this financial year, so in the 4.5 months since 1st of July, we've already generated over $43 million in revenue. So we're on track to do a substantially bigger revenue year in FY 25 than FY 24. I'll talk a little bit more around how we've managed to do that, but we're seeing strong revenue growth this year. As I said earlier, we have renegotiated both of the pipeline and power station contracts. That'll take about $30 million of cost out of the business on an annual basis. So we are going to be a very, very profitable business moving forward, particularly that impact will be particularly apparent in the FY 26 year. And as I said, as production increases, we're largely a fixed cost business from a field operating cost base. On a field operating costs, our unit operating costs will come down. We have been working actually quite hard on how do we grow our path to market, or our monetisation and commercialisation of our uncontracted gas reserves. And to that end, we've been working on additional electricity generation opportunities based around our Moranbah operations. And also potentially some brownfield acquisitions of existing generation. We believe that electricity for us is a very, very effective way to monetise gas, and we earn very, very high netback pricing. Just more specifics. So we've got these are our targets. These are our internal targets and milestones. Grow gas supply. New wells online right now. 7 new wells online right now. We're already seeing very interesting production rates from those wells, and we're expecting that to move towards peak production over the next 6 months. We're playing around with the gas gathering system to reduce pressure and get rid of some bottlenecks in that system, and we're looking to secure third-party gas supply. We're looking to upgrade our reserves and resources. That's a major body of work for us, but we believe this project is going to be one of the largest uncontracted reserve holders in actually Eastern Australian gas markets. We're looking to develop additional paths to market through peaking power generation. As I've already said, there is a real acknowledgement that the market or the transition to renewables needs gas. Gas is the backbone of the energy markets, and particularly in Queensland. We're looking to also broaden our gas customer base. There is an opportunity. There are a lot of industrial users of diesel and LPG throughout the North Queensland area, and again we're looking at options to replace or substitute diesel with either small LNG, micro LNG or CNG. And in particular we're focused around driving earnings, and we're doing that both top line. We are growing sales revenue. That's already happening. We're reducing our costs, and predominantly that's through our infrastructure access costs, and we're reducing field operating costs. So across all of those milestones, or those targets, we are making active progress. All of that is within the next 12 months for us as a business. I might just turn to the Queensland electricity market, and Queenslanders love solar, they love air conditioning, and they love government subsidies for electricity bills. And what that actually does is it actually creates a very, very unstable market environment. And this is a little snapshot of generation across Queensland for last Thursday the 7th, and obviously the yellow, solar, and black, coal. The sort of browny, pinky bands there is gas-fired generation. Blue is a bit of hydro, and green is wind. So the market in Queensland is dominated by solar. It's unbelievable. There's about 4,500 megawatts of solar, rooftop solar, that's, at peak today, right now, is pumping, but at dusk it's gone. And guess what happens at dusk? Everyone's coming home, it's bloody hot, let's whack the AC on, right? Demand goes through the roof, and what is it that fills that gap? The coal-fired power stations try hard, you can see it there. They're ramping up, but they were never ever designed to respond to that kind of shift in net demand so quickly. It's got to be gas. Gas is the power source that can spin up very fast. The Townsville Power Station and others like it can spin up very quickly in about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. They're back up at full generation, and they sit and they can generate at that point in time when the market absolutely needs it, and Queensland needs it. So there's a real need in Queensland. It's a busy slide, this one, but effectively there is about 2.9 gigawatts of gas-fired capacity installed in Queensland currently, and at peak times there's about 2 to 2.2 gigawatts actually being dispatched. So not all of the capacity is being dispatched, and one of the reasons for that is that gas supply is critical. Not all of these units actually have gas supply, and the problem with new projects in particular is securing gas supply. So there's only two on the cards at the moment. One is CS Energy's Brigalow development. That's sort of happening, but gas supply for that is challenging and may run on diesel. The Lockyer Valley development by Quinbrook is really not proceeding at this point in time. So there is nothing happening, and it's not the market, not that the market doesn't need generation, it's that there's no gas. There's no gas available. Guess what? QPM Energy, we have gas. We have gas, we have infrastructure. We are the natural partner to step into this market. I just want to turn back to last Thursday, and it's just a great example, we think, of what actually is happening and how a targeted player like us, someone who can target the market actively, can really make a difference. The blue line there is the market price from about 12 o'clock, from midday through to about midnight on that Thursday. And you can kind of see that market prices got up to between $15,000 to $16,000, $17,000 a megawatt hour during that period for an extended period. The green line is the dispatch from the Townsville power station. So we were running that power station and dispatching during that period of time, and effectively we were deliberately targeting running that power station to attack the price event. So that's how gas-fired firming generation works. It's what we do as a business, and our energy markets team did a phenomenal job of absolutely capturing this, which is an exceptional price event. But so what does that actually mean for us as a business? So this chart here, the bars are revenue for every 5-minute increment. So we were at peak pricing, we were generating something like 250 grand a minute. And for that 3-hour run, we generated net to us $7.2 million. So in 3 hours, our business, our company generated $7.2 million. Now that's an exceptional event, clearly in the markets, but we know that these happen, and they happen this time of year, summer, and also a little bit now in winter in Queensland. We run every day like this, and sometimes you jag it. That's what it means for us as a business. So, QPM, that's it. We're a bit more than this at the moment. Actually, we're a bit over 100 million bucks in market cap. We've got revenues, we've got profitability emerging, we've got a very solid and viable business. I'd be very, very happy to chat with anyone post the presentation. We've got a booth out there. Enjoy the lunch. Thank you very much.